Welcome back to the deep dive. It's great to have you with us.
Good to be here.
Usually on this show, we're breaking down the mechanics of a global merger, or maybe dissecting some dense white paper on artificial intelligence.
Right. We deal in the complex, the messy, the future.
Exactly. But today we are pivoting hard. We're looking at a profile, a single document. It's titled The Simple Life and Values of Adam.
And I know what you're probably thinking. You see that title, you scan the source, and it looks incredibly basic.
Yeah, unremarkable.
Totally, at first glance. But here's the thing. When you actually, strip away that surface simplicity, what we have here is, I think it's a radical counterculture document.
Counterculture is a pretty strong phrase for a guy who writes about, brushing his teeth and eating cheese.
I stand by it.
Yeah.
I mean, look, in a world that just thrives on chaos, on constant notifications, and this relentless pursuit of more, Adam is presenting a masterclass in stability. We're looking at a blueprint for contentment that really challenges almost everything modern society tells us we need to be happy. This isn't just a diary, it's an operating system for a peaceful life.
So that's our mission today. We're going to deconstruct this Adam archetype. We want to figure out if this guy is just, boring, or if he's actually cracked the code.
The code the rest of us are spending thousands on therapy and apps to try and find.
Exactly. It brings up that big question, right?
Yeah.
Is happiness about adding things to your life, more money, more travel, more status?
Or is it about subtracting the noise? Adam definitely argues for subtraction.
So let's start with the foundation, the geography. Because Adam is not a digital nomad. He is not jet-setting around looking for the perfect Wi-Fi.
Oh, far from it. He's 30 years old, and the text it's really explicit about this. He says, I was born in this city. I lived here all my life.
30 years in the same zip code. I mean, in today's culture, that's almost unheard of. We're all told that to succeed, you have to move.
Right, you have to go to the coast or the capital or the next city. Staying put is framed as, what? Settling.
Or getting stuck.
Yeah. Exactly. There's a stigma to it.
Hmm.
But look at the psychological benefit he gets from this. He describes his city as quiet and beautiful. He knows the parks, the trees. It's what psychologists call place attachment.
Okay.
By staying in one spot, he's basically removed that grass is greener anxiety that just plagues so many people. He isn't wasting mental energy on where he could be. He has roots.
He knows where he stands. And that seems to extend to his actual house.
Right.
He gives us a little tour. It's not a mansion.
No, he calls it small. Living room, kitchen, 2 bedrooms. But it's interesting. He doesn't describe it as cramped. He says it's beautiful.
And the crown jewel of that home seems to be the garden.
Yes. This is a crucial detail in the text. He says, I grow flowers and vegetables there. And he links it directly to his mental state. Gardening is relaxing. It makes me happy.
It's funny because farm to table is this massive, trendy industry. People pay a huge premium for it. Adam is just living it.
He's living it. He's eating vegetables he grew himself 10 feet from his kitchen. It's not a trend. It's just sustenance.
There's a real sense of agency in that.
Totally. It grounds you. But I want to call attention to his aesthetic choices inside the house, specifically his obsession with the color blue.
Yeah, he mentions this a few times. Blue clothes, blue decorations.
And he says, why? Blue is calm and beautiful. It sounds like a simple quirk, right? But it's actually highly strategic. I mean, color psychology tells us blue is associated with lower heart rates, sense of calm. He is curating his sensory input to maximize relaxation. He's built a sanctuary to lower his cortisol levels.
So he's got the stage set. Let's look at the script, the routine, because this is where I think some people might start to squirm. Adam's schedule is...
pleasantly rigid.
Or maybe just rigid, yeah.
I'd use the word consistent. And yes, it is rigid. He wakes up at 7 a.m. every single day.
No snooze button wars for him.
The text implies zero negotiation. 7 a.m., he's up, brushes his teeth, washes his face. But then we get to breakfast. And this is where the Adam philosophy really shines for me.
Yes. The breakfast of champions. Bread, cheese, and tea.
Every single day.
So let me play devil's advocate here. Isn't that just incredibly dull? I mean, where's the variety? Where's the avocado toast?
It might seem dull to the palate, sure, but think about it in terms of decision fatigue. We know high performers, people like Steve Jobs, wore the same clothes every day to save mental energy. Adam's doing the same way with his food.
Right.
He doesn't stand in front of the fridge at 7:15 a.m. paralyzed by choice. He knows what he's having. It just streamlines his whole morning.
It's efficiency, but it's disguised as simplicity. He automates the basics to focus on the day. Which brings us to his work, an English teacher for children.
And this part is key. He loves it. He calls it his passion.
A lot of people say that, but he gets specific about why. He says he likes to help them speak English clearly.
That specificity really matters. He's not chasing a promotion or a title. He's getting satisfaction from the immediate utility of his work. He sees a child struggle. He helps the child improve.
It's a very tight feedback loop.
Exactly. Of competence and contribution, he feels useful. He sees the impact.
And then the workday ends. He goes home, rests, has a snack, and then we hit the 8:00 p.m. marker. This seems to be the big, non-negotiable anchor of his evening.
Dinner with the family, and then lights out at 10:00 p.m.
10 o'clock sharp.
It's a perfect circadian rhythm. Waking at 7, sleeping at 10, that's a solid 9 hours. But before we move on from food, his whole diet philosophy. He lists rice, vegetables, fruit, the bread and cheese. He calls it all simple food and healthy food.
It's very functional. He says energy is important for a good life.
Precisely. He sees food as fuel. In our culture, food is often entertainment or comfort or a status symbol. For Adam, it's the battery pack that lets him do the things he actually cares about.
So if you zoom out on this routine, wake up, bread and cheese, teach, rice and veggies, sleep. It can sound a bit robotic.
Yeah.
But you're arguing this structure is actually liberating.
100%. Discipline equals freedom. Because the logistics of his life are on autopilot, his mind is free. He isn't stressed about what to eat or when to sleep. And that mental space is what allows him to have this surprisingly rich intellectual life.
That's the twist, isn't it? Because you expect a guy with a routine this simple to just, I don't know, sit on the porch and stare at the sunset.
Right. But Adam is an unexpected scholar.
He really is. The source says he reads every evening. And not just light fiction. He's reading books about history and science.
Reading helps me learn new things. It's an active pursuit of knowledge.
And he pairs that consumption with creation. He keeps a notebook, writes small stories, documents his life.
Writing helps me remember my experiences. That line really stuck with me. How much of our own lives do we just forget because we don't take 10 minutes to write it down?
We just scroll through photos on our phone, but we don't remember how we felt.
Exactly. He's the historian of his own existence.
Yeah.
By writing it down, he's saying, this mattered, my day mattered. And then there's the music. He plays guitar, listens to calm music daily.
More of that emotional regulation. He's using music to relax.
Uh-huh.
But there's a paradox here that I really want to dig into. We said he's an English teacher. He is the expert in the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
But he spends a huge amount of his free time learning English.
I loved this detail. He uses his computer, watches videos, listens to songs to improve. He says, I try to speak slowly and clearly. I want to improve.
Imagine the humility in that. You're the teacher. You could so easily just coast and say, well, I know more than the 6-year-olds, I'm good.
But he goes home and becomes the student. It is the definition of a growth mindset. He doesn't see himself as a finished product. And notice how he uses technology here. He has a computer, email.
So he's not a Luddite.
Not at all. But he uses technology deliberately for education and communication, not for mindless scrolling. He controls the tool. The tool doesn't control him.
Okay, so we've covered the environment, the routine, the mind. But the Adam archetype would completely collapse if you were doing this all alone.
Yeah.
We have to talk about the social scaffolding.
Community is the glue. And for Adam, it starts with the family. The cast of characters is pretty classic. A friendly father who works in a school, a kind mother who cooks.
And the younger sister at university. And that 8:00 p.m. dinner we mentioned, that's not just about calories.
No, it's a ritual. Adam says, we share our feelings and experiences, and then he says, we help each other. In an era where families eat in separate rooms, staring at screens.
Right.
Adam's family is using dinner as a kind of group therapy session. They're processing the day together.
It's a safety net. If you have a bad day, you know that at 8:00 p.m. you have a forum.
Precisely. And his social circle expands out from there. He meets friends on weekends, parks, coffee, games. But what I find most compelling are his social ethics. Adam has a policy on smiling.
Smiling makes people happy. It
Yeah.
sounds so simple, like something on a motivational poster.
But he lives it. He sees himself as a friendly person who should be greeting strangers. It's proactive kindness. He isn't waiting for the world to be nice to him. He's projecting that friendliness outward.
He says he likes meeting new people, which sort of breaks that small-town recluse stereotype.
It does. He's deeply engaged. He understands that weak ties, those small interactions with strangers, are actually massive predictors of happiness.
This all leads us right into his core operating system, the values. If we look at his behavior, we can reverse engineer what I'm calling the code of Adam.
The text makes it easy for us. It really rests on 3 pillars: honesty, patience, and kindness.
Let's tackle honesty first, because his take on it is, well, it's pragmatic. He says, I always tell the truth, but not just because it's morally right. He says, honesty makes life simple and easy.
That is a profound insight. We usually think of honesty as a moral burden, something we have to do even when it's hard. Adam frames it as a life hack.
A life hack? How so?
Well, think about how much mental energy is consumed by maintaining little lies or posturing or trying to be someone you aren't.
Right, keeping your story straight.
Exactly. If you're radically honest, you remove all that friction. You don't have to remember which version of the truth you told to whom. It's another form of efficiency, just like the bread and cheese. It frees up RAM in your brain.
Then there's patience. He tries to stay calm in difficult situations and think carefully before I act.
Goes back to that emotional regulation. He's not reactive, he's responsive. In a world of hot takes and instant outrage, Adam just pauses. He creates a gap between the stimulus and his response.
And finally, kindness, the idea that happiness comes from helping others.
It's an altruistic loop. He helps others, he feels happy, so he helps others more. It's this upward spiral of positivity.
Okay, I want to push back a little here. We've painted a picture of a guy who is 100% content, rooted, happy with his lot in life. But the text reveals a conflict. Adam is not devoid of ambition.
No, he isn't. And this is where the profile gets really three-dimensional.
He has big dreams. He wants to travel to other countries, see new architecture. He wants to write a book and share his stories.
So there's the tension, right? How can a man who has never left his hometown, who loves his routine, also desperately want to see the world? Is he lying to himself? Is he actually stuck?
That's the cynical read, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, he says he loves his small city because he's just afraid to leave.
But I don't think that's it. I think the key word is, again, patience. Adam finds adventure in the micro moments. He talks about walking in the park in spring when the flowers bloom, the peace of the evening. He finds awe in his own backyard.
Life is beautiful when we enjoy small things. That's his quote.
Exactly. He's satisfying his curiosity on a micro level, learning a new English word, meeting a new neighbor while he waits for the macro dreams to happen. He isn't deferring his happiness. He's not saying, I'll be happy when I go to Paris.
He's happy now while looking forward to Paris.
Yes. And that's a massive distinction. Most of us live in that when-then trap. When I get the promotion, then I'll be happy. Adam is happy with the bread and cheese while dreaming of the baguette in France.
Which, frankly, makes him much more likely to actually get there.
Because he's not operating from a place of desperation or burnout. He's building his life and his savings, presumably, brick by brick.
It's the torture of the gap between where you are and where you want to be that kills people. Adam seems to have just closed that gap by loving where he is.
He's made the journey the destination. It's a cliche, but he's actually living it. He sees the waiting room of life as a destination in itself.
So we've taken this all apart. The geography, the routine, the mind, the community, the values. When you step back and look at the Adam archetype, what's the headline for you?
For me, it's that a simple life is not an empty life. We so often conflate complexity with importance. We think if we aren't stressed, we aren't working hard enough. If our calendar isn't full, we aren't successful. Adam proves you can have a life full of connection, full of growth, and full of peace, all without the chaos.
My big takeaway is about the intentionality. Nothing in Adam's life feels accidental. He didn't just end up in this routine. He chose the blue walls. He chose the 7:00 a.m. wake up. He chose to smile at strangers. He's the architect of his own stability.
And his habits support his values. That is the alignment. He values health, so he eats fruit. He values knowledge, so he reads. He values family, so he eats with them. There's no hypocrisy in his day.
Oof.
How many of us can say that? How many of us say family is everything and then answer emails during dinner?
Yeah, that hits home.
It's supposed to. Adam acts as a mirror. He forces us to ask if our daily schedule actually matches our stated values.
Which brings us to a final thought for you listening. Adam makes that very specific claim. Honesty makes life simple and easy. We usually blame our stress on external factors, the economy, our boss, the traffic. Yeah. But it raises a provocative question to end on. In our modern, complex world, is the stress we feel actually just the accumulation of small dishonesties? Are we stressed because we're lying to others about what we can handle? Or are we lying to ourselves about what we actually want?
It's a big question.
So if we adopted Adam's radical honesty, if we just told the truth about who we are and what we need, Would our lives immediately become as peaceful as his?
It's a terrifying experiment. But it might be worth trying. Maybe start small.
Start with the bread and cheese?
Start with the bread and cheese, and maybe turn the lights out at 10.
Thanks for taking this deep dive with us. We'll see you next time.